dry intro, avoid vocal intro instead of like music or anything like that. And
all right.
we're live now. Hey guys, welcome back to the Typical Skeptic Podcast. I'm so sorry for the wait, guys. I was on a long walk. I walked 5 miles tonight because I'm trying to get back in shape, and I lost track of time totally. And I was watching football on my phone while I was walking home, and stuff like that. So the Steelers beat the Colts today, which is a big thing.
That's right.
And, but like today, we got one of my favorite guests with me. He dedicated a large part of his new book towards like his experiences on this podcast. So I'm grateful for that. And it's Breakaway Ray. And his new book is called Let's Go Off Planet. We're going to talk about that tonight. He's going to do some readings for you guys. Oh, I see Paranormal on Earth in the chat. Hey, I think that's Anthony. Good. What's up, Anthony? Good to see you. But anyway, his pen name is R Snow. It's Breakaway Ray, aka R Snow. He's been on my show a lot of times, maybe over 20 times. And he returns tonight to the Typical Skeptic Podcast for another cosmic broadcast of intuitive readings and multidimensional downloads. Ray is the host of the Starcard Podcast, so you guys should all go over there to the Starcard Podcast and subscribe right now. It's a channel dedicated to tarot, consciousness expansion, and off-world intelligence. He's also the author of the Convoluted Autobiography and his new book, Let's Go Off Planet, which even features myself in it. Tonight's show dives deep into tarot readings, cosmic messages, geopolitics, and disclosure topics beyond the reality of Earth's matrix. And I have put a link for Ray's podcast in the description. It's youtube.com/@starcard-podcast. And with all that said, I'd like to give him a big warm welcome back to the show. Ray, thanks so much for coming back on, man. How are you?
Rob, I'm doing great. Happy El Dia de los Muertos to you and to everyone at the Typical Skeptic Podcast.
Oh, El Dia de los Muertos.
Right. Oh, that was yesterday. That was yesterday.
Today's well, close enough, that's okay. Yeah, it's close enough. Yeah.
Halloween weekend. Yeah. And
Dia de los Muertos means Day of the Dead.
That's right. It's celebrated out here in Southern California, especially in the Latin communities around the country. But that was yesterday, and the day before was Halloween. But it's all one fun weekend of scares and frights and thrills and stuff. I hope everyone had a good, safe time out there on Halloween. I think I was doing some counting. We're going to talk about math in a little bit, but I think this is my 18th time on the program. So I'm way ahead of Howdy McCoskey, and I'm like one away from tying Raynetta Jones, which is almost not fair because she's not appearing on your show on Earth anymore. But that's quite a lot of shows. I love coming on your show, Rob. It's quite an honor. You have so many spectacular guests, well-known and not so well-known, all of them talented, filled with interesting stories. No wonder you're up at the top of that Apple list for best educational podcast. You really bring it to the audience. So congratulations, Rob. Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
You know what I figured out last night? I counted how many times Tommy Edwards has been on my show because he was on my show last night. He got you beat. He's been on 25 times. But you guys can see, I have the same people on over and over again. Like I have you, I have him, I have a lot of the similar people that kind of you guys like. How do I say this? You guys like fit the mold of this show. Like you guys are like the backbone of this show. You know what I mean? Like I get, I get a new people too. You know what I mean? Like I've had David Icke's son on a couple times. I try to get different people all the time. But I like to have my regular people on as well too. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's right. You give everybody a chance, Rob. It's so beautiful. And I want to say I'm glad you mentioned Touchdown Tommy. I saw him in one of your boxes on your Halloween show. I saw him there playing his guitar. I just love his style. I love his scene. I wish him a lot of luck. I want to send him a lot of positive vibrations. Good for you, Touchdown Tommy. Keep it going. And so I want to show you the book one more time. This just came out this year. My other book is called The Convoluted Autobiography, but this is Let's Go Off Planet with Breakaway Ray. And it's the story about how Rob Kalil turned me into a monster because I keep coming on his show. I talk about the secret space programs. I talk about consciousness. And then there's a lot of our dialogue and my speeches from 2024 in here. There's some of the things I presented on Starcard Podcast in here. And I want to show you the back of the book, the last page. I took a screenshot. This is the last page. And you can see the screenshot. There's me and Rob. I think that was Christmas/Hanukkah, December 25th last year. And there were some people who left some nice comments that were encouraging to me. So I went ahead and printed this page, and this is like the end of my book. But in the book, we met on Halloween last year, October 31st, and I have that flag right here, Rob, because I want to show it to everybody. typical.
That's cool.
Yeah, typical Breakaway Ray story. So here, it's called Giving Out Potatoes on Halloween. So last year, Rob asked me a question, because he's the Typical Skeptic Podcast. He's interested in the paranormal. So I want to read to you what Rob asked me, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about Halloween with Breakaway Ray. So it says here, Rob is saying this part. Ready? So you really asked, I beg your pardon. Let me ask you this, Ray. Did you ever have anything weird happen on Halloween, or anything like paranormal, or anything like weird, like any weird experiences you want to share, that like anything in your teenage years when you were partying, throughout your college years, or anything that happened while you were teaching that was weird, or just like anything weird, paranormal, strange that happened on Halloween? I'm just wondering. And then I said, well, yeah, I gave out potatoes on Halloween. And then I went ahead and told the story about how there's this one fourth grade boy whose mom and I used to go to high school together. He had his mom drive him to my house for Halloween. And then as soon as he got the potato, he turned around and he said, okay, Mom, I'm done. Let's go home. He just wanted to get a potato and go home. So now I got two more stories about the potatoes for you. One was there was this mom. She had toddlers. They must have been like 3 or 4 years old. And at the time, I lived in a house that was not on the corner. It was just one street or one house along the street, not conspicuous in any way, no decorations. But for some reason, this mom decided that the very first house that she was going to take her kids trick-or-treating to was going to be my house. And this was their very first time trick-or-treating. And it's not like, again, she didn't know me. I know a lot of the people in the community. Their kids went to my school, but this family didn't know me. Anyway, this lady shows up at my house with 2 adorable kids, 3 and 4 years old, in costumes, and they're saying trick or treat. And then the mom says, this is their very first time trick-or-treating. You're their first house. And then I looked at her and I said, I give out potatoes. And I almost felt like apologizing, but the mom started laughing. She got the joke. And then I gave the potatoes to the little kids. And they were kind of upset, and they started crying. Oh, what is this? They were looking for candy. So anyway, I upset those children for the rest of their lives. They'll always remember that. I'm sure the mom will tease them and bring it back and say it was really funny. I'm sure they had a great time getting candy the rest of the night. Anyway, they got a potato at my house for their very first trick-or-treating experience. Now, the other one I want to tell you about was...
Ray, I got a question about that. Why were you giving away potatoes? Was it just like a gag you were trying, like a joke that you were trying, or kind of like...
Yeah, it was a total joke. I lived in the neighborhood where I worked at the school, and I knew kids were going to come by. And then I remembered, I know you remember this, Rob. I know you're a little bit younger than me, but I know you remember the Charlie Brown Halloween where everyone would go to Yeah. And every time Charlie Brown would go to a house, he'd get a rock. And I thought that was hilarious. And I'm like, I can't be giving out rocks, but wait a minute, what about potatoes? So, I started giving out potatoes. And then my other neighbors said, well, let's do a stone soup thing. One of my neighbors gave out onions. One of my neighbors gave out carrots. But anyway, that's another story. So I want to tell you this story. There was a bunch of kids. Some of them were in my class. They came up to my door. And then, trick or treat, I'm giving them all potatoes. I closed the door. They're standing on my front lawn. And they're arguing and upset about the potatoes. I mean, they knew it was coming. And they were enjoying getting upset. It was going to be fun to talk about it at school, yada, yada. But they're standing on my lawn, and they're arguing, potato this, potato that. And my front door is right by my garage door. So I opened my garage door, and I turned on the sprinklers.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I'm sure they remember that, too. So I wanted to share those little epilogues. They're not in the book, but there's a lot of other good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed any of my 17 other appearances on Rob's show over the past year and a half. A lot of this stuff in here was pre-tarot. And again, if you don't know me, ladies and gentlemen, I started doing tarot in March. I took Matthew Mornian's class with Rob. Rob was in the class. And anyway, now I'm doing tarot on my own podcast, Starcard Podcast. I'm going to thank Rob for putting that link in the description. So I have 8 scares to share today. But before I get to my prepared notes, Rob and I discussed before we went on air that I wanted to share something that scares me, and Rob said it would be okay to talk about it. And what scares me, ladies and gentlemen, is that Congress is shut down. And, Congress is like the first branch of the government that they talk about in the Constitution. Congress holds the purse strings. Congress appropriates money. Congress decides where money goes. So right now with the government shut down, the government's not making decisions the way it normally does about where it sends its money. And Rob, I know, wants to talk about some of the programs that are part of the social safety net in the United States. But one thing I want to bring up is, when you don't have a Congress, you don't have checks and balances anymore. And this sounds a lot like 1930s Germany. In 1930s Germany, the Reichstag got burned down. That was where the German Congress, as it was, that's where they met. And when it was burned down, there were some new rules written so that the leader at the time, whose name starts with an H, could not worry so much about a legislative branch, but he could just proceed and do what he was going to do, which enabled him to become a dictator. And there's a lot of people concerned about that. And so anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it. Do we really want to be in the same situation as 1930s Germany? I know there's a lot of other extraneous things we could talk about, but this is not good for the United States. We should all be demanding that Congress be back in session, and we need to really step it up with our Congress people. They need to behave responsibly. I want to stop here.
What it is, like, I have more conservative beliefs, but like, I just can't. I don't side with the rhinos or the Democrats. You know what I mean? Like, I voted for Trump because, like, I felt like that was the better option. I mean, I'm a very anti-political person, like, because I feel like at the end of the day, like, it's like they don't give us many choices. You know what I mean? If real freedom doesn't seem to exist anymore, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if it ever did. I mean, like, I'm a patriot. I'm very patriotic. I love America. Like, a lot of my family members were in wars. Like, my grandfather was a prisoner of war in World War II. My dad was in Vietnam. My uncle was in Vietnam. Then on my mom's side, people were in wars too. So, like, I'm very patriotic, but at the same time, like, I can't back politicians because they're so greasy and, like, they never have our best interest in mind. You know what I mean? And this whole government shutdown shows that they don't have our best interest in mind because they can't even get along to run the fucking country. You know what I mean? Like, how idiotic is that? You know what I mean? It's like, dude, put your fucking issues aside and, like, do something for the people for once. You know what I mean? Because it's always us who suffer. When people go to war, it's the people who are middle class and lower class whose families suffer because their kids die from war. It's not these rich motherfuckers. You know what I mean? I'm so sick of this shit. It's such bullshit. You know what I mean? If you guys can't get behind what I'm saying, then, you might be an NPC because, like, this is some real, I mean, like, they gotta tighten it up and pull shit together. This is crazy. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with you, Rob. Well put. And there was a lot of thoughts in my mind while you were talking. Well, we're not really trying really hard. I mean, the person that's in the White House right now in the Oval Office, he's already talking about having another term in office. George Washington didn't do that. There's a constitutional rule against that. And everyone's just like shrugging their shoulders. Oh, well, that's what he's going to do. Manny's going to be Manny. Okay. But no, that's not how the government works. We don't do that. We don't have people for more than 2 terms. Even talking about it, you're out of line. But we could go all the way back to the Billy Bush episode on the bus way back in 2015, was it? When that guy who's in the Oval Office now, he was talking about how he could just treat women so disrespectfully and grab them. Anybody else, their whole career would have been finished at that point. But no, it was fluff. It was clickbait. And the news people kept on carrying it instead of ignoring this guy. When he said he wasn't going to show anyone his taxes because he doesn't pay taxes like everybody else does, okay? Again, that's another shutdown. We all have to agree, if you're not going to show your taxes, you got something to hide. You can't play in the race for presidency. But that's not what's going on. So we're making too many excuses for someone who doesn't give a rip. He's just going to keep on taking. He's a little self-centered. I think we can agree on that. I appreciate you, Rob, allowing me to share my opinions on this because it's a real problem. We're not doing anything about it. We're all sitting on our hands, watching TV or whatever, hoping someone's going to come in and rescue. We're the rescue. We have to decide. Anyway, I've spoken enough on that. I got enough to say later.
Yeah, I'm hoping they pull it together and they get their shit together for the people. Because like I said, it's always the people who suffer. And these people that are making these decisions, they already have everything. And I mean, the one thing that we found out from this presidency that was a good thing was when he appointed Elon to the Doge team. And I'm not a big fan of Elon, but look how much unappointed funds they found that were going towards politicians that were like that were not needed, that they were just like, that they were greasing their pockets with extra funds. That just shows you what these politicians do. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's a Republican or Democrat, they're all probably doing it, because they don't care at the end of the day. They're in politics to make money. They're not. A lot of these people aren't in politics to help save us. You know what I mean? They just want to they want to better their life, and they could give us two rats' ass about the people, and that's what sucks. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I would like to say that there's probably one person who's actually in it probably to help the people, and that's Bernie Sanders. That's my preference. That guy's been saying the same thing since the 1980s when he started, and he hasn't changed his story. He's not pocketing cash. So, there's always an exception to the rule. And again, Rob, you're so gracious by allowing people to share their opinions on air. I learned today that in the 1970s when Nixon was president, there was in the Senate, we have 100 senators. I guess there was like a 99-0 vote to impeach Nixon. So you had people on both parties saying, no, this is not cool. You can't do this. But that's not what's happening right now. Anyway, very good, Rob. Thank you very much for letting me share. I hope, this makes a difference to somebody out there and they think about what's going on. Because a lot of us, we're so, we're working one job, we're working two jobs, we've got families to take care of. We don't have time to think about what's going on in Washington, D.C., for example. So I hope we're helping them out by talking about it.
That's a problem. That's the the guy. It's so out of control about like what we see about what actually goes on. You know what I mean? And they have us, a lot of people caught up in the rat race. That's exactly what they do. You know what I mean? That's the whole idea behind the soul trap too. You know what I mean? And the whole prison planet idea is that you can never have time to research and escape the prison planet or escape the soul trap because you're so caught up in the rat race of surviving day to day, paying your taxes, your car breaks down, your air conditioner breaks, your kids crying, you got to buy diapers, you got to buy baby food, you got to buy groceries, you got to, you want to play the lottery, you know what I mean? Whatever. It's just a big fucking racket. It's crazy. You know what I mean? This whole world is I'm sick of it. I feel lucky this week because I just got monetized on YouTube and then I got monetized on my audio podcast again, but it's going to be a while before, I start making income off of that. And even when I do, it won't be a lot, but still I'm grateful to have that because that was a good thing, and I couldn't believe that even happened. But So that's where I'm at with everything.
Yeah, right on, Rob. Congratulations on being monetized again. I know it's small, but it's important. And we discussed this, I think, in an email. I'm not accepting any payment or funds or money from anyone. I'm nowhere, not on my channel. I'm not charging for anything. So if people want to donate tonight, it all goes to Rob. I guess he can do his monetization on YouTube. He can do super chats now. So if you feel like donating because you appreciate what I'm doing or whatever, that's great. Send it to Rob because I love Rob and I want him to continue what he's doing. He brings all the guests that we need to see right here to Typical Skeptic Podcast. I've learned so much from Rob's show. So please, if you want to donate, do it with style, do it as much as you can for Rob. That's going to keep me going. I'm going to be okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ray. That's really nice of you. That really is cool. I guess I can get super chats now. I guess let me see if I can get super chats. So but it's better if you guys donate with PayPal or whatever. Do whatever you want. You know what I mean? I'm just happy with anything. But is there anything else you wanted to cover, Ray? Tonight before we get into the readings, is there anything else you wanted to?
Oh yes, Rob. Before I do tarot readings, I prepared 8 scares to share, and they get shorter as I go along. But it's food for thought, and I'll stop after each one, Rob, in case you'd like to comment on any of them. Would that be all right?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. So here we go, everybody. Let me get set up. All right. My name is Breakaway Ray. I'm the host of Starcard Podcast. Join me over there. I do this stuff a couple of times a week. Anyway, I prepared something special tonight for Typical Skeptic Podcast. It's called Breakaway Ray Shares 8 Scares, starting with number 9. There were a lot of scary things to talk about. When I got as high as number 9, I was paralyzed with fear. When I got up to number 9 and realized number 9 was math, I backtracked and set the ceiling to number 8. Because number 9 is math, and math is scary. Number 9 is math, and if I went up to number 10, I'd be in double digits. If I went up to number 10, my list of 8 scares to share would look like David Letterman's top 10 list, And that would also be scary if I couldn't come up with my own list. Number 9 is math, and math is scary. When I was growing up in the 1970s and calculators came out, we didn't have to be good at math anymore. And it shows in 2025. We don't do math, and it is to our own detriment. People don't want us to do math. Then we would be able to figure things out for ourselves. We don't do math, and it is built into our education. We don't do math, and it is built into our education system here in the United States. Over the course of more than 3 decades in the classroom, I've observed that programs were designed intentionally to dumb down, confuse, and discourage children from learning math. If we don't start doing more math, the military is going to take math and privatize it and sequester it from the rest of society, just like history and language and science and free energy and all the so-called inventions that were stolen from us so that they could sell them back to us. It's Halloween weekend 2025, and look at how far we have progressed. Students don't do research anymore. They don't even know what research means. Research? Go to a library, read a book, type it into a computer. I'll just ask Alexa. Great. Limit yourself to what Alexa knows or what Alexa tells you. How carried away am I getting here? Well, what's it like to be a secondary teacher nowadays? What do instruction, research, cognitive development, and academic honesty look like nowadays when you're a high school teacher with 200 students in 5 classes and you're hoping that your AI can outduel theirs? Rob, that's number 9. And now on to number 8.
Wow, it's interesting.
Number 8, underground cities. No, wait. Number 8, underground civilizations. I was surprised to learn about inner Earth in Shambhala or Shangri-La or Sangria or whatever the name of that place is. Then when you look at a 2-dimensional map like it's a chessboard and you see a military base, you don't see the 3-dimensional chessboard of the underground part of that military base. Indeed, most of the time, we only see the tip of the iceberg, an entrance into a mountainside, a little shack out in the middle of nowhere that has an elevator to the underworld, signs in the Nevada desert that say that there are U.S. Navy bases underneath. Then you have Secret Space Program experiencer John Whitberg telling us what's under the Giza Plateau and that the Ural Mountains are actually pyramids. Then you have old world buildings and cities around the world which have foundations established way under the ground that we would never think about if we didn't do a little math and ask questions. Number 8, anybody want to be the first to grab a flashlight and explore that tunnel going underground? Yeah, you could go first. On to number 7. Number 7, breakaway civilizations and technology. Shouldn't we be scared of number 7? You mean there really are aliens? Wait, the Germans from 1940s Germany got spaceship technology from extraterrestrials? Germans from 1940s Germany went to Antarctica and then went to outer space? Wait, the Germans from 1940s Germany won the war and now I live in the United States of Operation Paperclip? There's really anti-gravity? There really are things like cloning and regeneration tanks? When you go into the military, the very first part of it is called boot camp. You're trained in survival and how to function as a cog in a hierarchy. Life on Earth is perpetual boot camp. Things do not need to be this hard and waste so much time. The answers already exist, but some selfish and, let's face it, sick people are hogging it all for themselves. Number 7, dude. All right, on to number 6. Number 6. Yeah, all right, Rob, I'm glad you're having a good time. I love being here, Rob. Anyway, on to number 6, mind control with a K. You know, I got enough things on my mind without having to worry about mind control. I'd like to be able to watch TV or scroll through my phone without having to worry about signals being sent and received. Oh, hey, hang on. I have to worry about mind control, and that involves reading my mind too. Whatever. If you're going to do that, then just put a neural link in my brain. Who cares? I am exhausted at the end of the day, and I just want to fall asleep in front of the television. I don't want to think about being scared that mind control is omnipresent, invisible, pervasive, worldwide, and part of my thoughts every day. Mind control has been around forever, re-emerging in Bavaria in the 1800s. Mind control is integral to all civilizations, including those off-world. Mind control was used in the Iraq War in the early 1990s when voice-to-skull technology told Iraqi soldiers to lay down their weapons. That was the 1990s, and it didn't sound believable then. Listening to the Green Bomb speech on Arkeem Ra's channel Disclosure Now is one of the scariest experiences I have ever had, right up there with listening to Penny Bradley's testimony. Number 6, okay, now I'm scared that there's mind control.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. 100%, Ray. You're totally on point.
Sweet. Thank you, Rob. Number 5. I'm really hot about this one, by the way. Number 5, Operation Popeye. Operation Popeye was a way to use weather control science to generate superstorms as a weapon of war in Vietnam during the President Johnson administration. Yes, they can do weather control too. Yes, Penny Bradley has come on the Typical Skeptic Podcast and shown the patents and the science which was registered a century ago. Weather control is not hard. It's used throughout the breakaway civilizations too, and it's being used on Earth right now. Weather control science has been privatized and militarized and hidden from us. Employees of weather broadcasting programs have to sign non-disclosure agreements agreeing not to discuss weather control science. We're all supposed to think it's just crazy weather. No, people are doing this to us. The technology is shared with private corporations, which use it on the public without any of us supposedly being aware of it. Private corporations controlling society. Ugh. Fascism. Operation Paperclip. It's just getting scarier. No oversight. The people who would use this technology just to mess with other people are not the ones who should be using this technology. Come on now. You can do weather control, but you can't help us fix the weather. You can only make it worse and give us calamity after catastrophe so you can make a profit. Hey, number 5, I got your weather report right here. Operation Popeye and weather control science gone rogue makes for a very pretty scary story.
Well said, Ray. Yeah, hell yeah.
All right.
You're right with everything you're saying. You know, I agree with everything you're saying.
Thank you, Rob. I'm glad I'm speaking to the right crowd. I'm preaching to the choir, right? Everybody knows this stuff. I'm happy to say it. Here we go. Here's a topic I brought up on the show before, Rob. Number 4, the Tuskegee Airmen. In the United States during the 20th century, unbeknownst to anyone, the government purposely put an illness into the bodies of the airmen who lived in Tuskegee, Alabama. This illness spread throughout their community.
Syphilis.
Sorry, yes?
It's syphilis, right?
Yes, it was a venereal disease. So disgusting. So disgusting. It sounds scary and despicable. Well, if you listen to Carrie Cassidy, who was recently on Rob's show, if you listen to Carrie Cassidy and many others, that dynamic of poisoning and polluting a community is mind control-like. They're using mind control and microwaves, and it's everywhere. It's across our country. It's around the world. And it's being done on purpose for a purpose. While we all want to yield and take a break because there's so much aggravation and wasted time, we are taking in poisons through our food, air, and the things we touch, which are designed to alter our DNA. And if you want to know more about that, Starcard Podcast, my very first adventure, is Breakaway Ray Saves Your DNA. I encourage you to go visit and check out all 5 episodes. Okay, so to continue, and our DNA is being altered so that we can all be better controlled in this lifetime and the next. That's right. For you people who don't believe in reincarnation, they're altering your DNA now so they can control you better, and they're going to get you in the next lifetime too because there's a science to it. Okay, they know what they're doing. We have no idea. We're not taught about this stuff. So, number 4, the Tuskegee Airmen story is plenty scary by itself, to think that anyone would do something like that. What's scarier is that we're all part of a Tuskegee Airmen experiment, and there is a very specific concealed motive to it.
I agree.
Thank you, Rob. All right, and now to get a little bit shorter, we're on to number 3. Number 3, consciousness hijacking during REM sleep. I'm going to repeat that because that's a lot to swallow. Consciousness hijacking during REM sleep. At the channel St. Olga with Daniel, I saw the Donald Marshall videos. If you want to hear some scary stuff, watch those. If a soul is a plasma-based / electromagnetism-based life form that attaches itself to a body and animates it, and there's technology used to hijack it when people are sleeping and use souls to animate a clone sleeve body in some underground base, can nothing be done to stop it? If consciousness can be split into more than 2,000 shards, how many of mine are missing? Number 3, consciousness hijacking during REM sleep. Again, somebody's using good science for bad purposes. All right. Thank you. All right, on to number 2. Excuse me. Number 2, scary things. Number 2, I can do magic. Yo, I can do magic? Whoa, I've been doing magic this whole time? That's pretty scary. You mean my intention and what I think about affects the world around me? How come we don't know about this or hear about this? Oh yeah, we're all being dumbed down. Mind control. We're just cattle on a farm. You don't tell sheep while you're sheep dipping them. You just sheep dip them. So the things that I've been programmed to think about are siphoning off my energy, my power, and my happiness. I sure would like to use that magic to leave this scary movie, which leads me to my number 1 scare to share. My number 1 scare to share, everybody, is consciousness. It is scary to think that we have a consciousness / a soul. If we're not recognizing our consciousness, our own soul, others are, and they will capitalize on its power if we don't. If we just leave a sports car revving in the driveway, someone's going to come along and take it. Why not explore and control your own consciousness, everybody? You might be frightened to find out just how powerful you are. My number 1 scare to share is consciousness. Rob, thank you so much for letting me share all those.
That was great. That was really great, Ray.
Thank you.
I was thinking maybe we could do some call-in, like people could call in and talk to you if they want that. But they can do their, if they want their reading, like they can do it regular. We can do it the regular way, and we can take calls too. You know what I mean? However people want to do it. You know, like if the audience wants me to take calls, I can take calls. Let me see. You know, like last night I had Tommy on, and only one person called in. We did that one on Rumble though, but still, like, you know, it was. I'd like you to people call in. So, you know,
it all sounds fun to me, Rob.
I have the. Yeah, I'll put the. I'll call in the line right now. So if people want to call in, they can. And yeah. And if you want a reading, put your name in the chat now, like, you know, or if you can call in and get your reading, the call. Let me see here. I'll fire up the phone lines right now. Let me see if I can do this.
Rob, while you're doing that, Rob, do you want me to throw some cards for you while you're doing that? All right.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's go to the tarot cam. Let's throw some cards for Rob. Yeah. It's a little bit of a different look when you're on StreamYard. I had to reorganize my desk here. Anyway, we're good. All right, I'm going to, you're taking care of what you take care of, Rob. I'm going to throw some cards for Rob. We'll get a fun, helpful message for Rob Kalil, Grand Master of the podcast. Sweet. Can we please have a fun, helpful message for Rob? Rob walked 5 miles today. All right. Staying in shape is easier than getting in shape. Way to go, Rob. These cards will be for Rob. A helpful, fun message, please, for Rob.
We're now in the host. If you manage your callers in the calling studio web interface.
Okay, the lines are open, guys. You guys can call in, and, you know, like, if you want to get your reading by calling, And the numbers are up on the screen. And you can call 573-877-7637. Or you can, outside the U.S., you dial 0111-573-877. And we guys, don't worry, you don't have to call in. We can do readings the old school way too. Like I see Selena donated. Thank you, Selena, and we'll get your reading next. And then anybody else who wants a reading after that. And you don't have to donate. You're not obligated to donate. That's just people who want to, But I'd like to take some calls tonight. It'd be fun to hear you guys' opinion on stuff. And yeah, hell yeah. And yeah. So.
All right. Well, cool deal, Rob. We're right in the middle of the fun storm. We're all having a good time. I threw some cards. It's all for entertainment purposes only, Rob, but let's give it a try. Let's see if there's a helpful, fun message for you. First up, it's the Knight of Swords, where you're charging forward energetically to defend your position. Let me read what it says on the card here. Ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed, fast thinking, defending beliefs. This sounds like you every day when you set up like 4 or 5 podcasts in a day. All right. And then this is like one of the very first cards I ever threw for you, Rob. It's the Moon card because it always talks about the subconscious and illusion and mystery, hidden knowledge in a way. So far, this certainly looks like we're talking about Rob here. Yeah, this looks more like Rob too. The 8 of Pentacles talks about skill development, hard work, plodding away. Let's read what it says on the 8 of Pentacles for you. Diligence, passion, high standards, mastery, skill development, repetitive tasks. Yeah, when you're doing 2,000 shows in the space of a couple of years, repetitive tasks, diligence, you make it happen. This is all about Rob. That's great. Wow. It's the 2 of Pentacles, which talks about multiple priorities. You're always juggling things. You might be talking to someone live on air, but at the same time, you're like setting up the next show or setting up a show a week from now. It depends on who's contacting you when. So portrays you as a very busy guy, charging forward to reveal the illusions around us. All right, so here comes the fun, helpful part. Nice. It's the 10 of Pentacles, Rob. The 10 of Pentacles talks about wealth, financial security, family, long-term success, and contribution. Any of those terms sound great. What really rings strongly for me is contribution. I keep on telling you, and I don't say this to everybody, Rob, but you're doing God's work. God's going to look out for you. I'm sure like it's almost like a miracle that you got your channel back and got it monetized again. If you ask for help, you're going to get it. You've got some protection going on because you got a tough job. But you're definitely making a contribution. I would not be where I am, and I don't think any of your audience would be where they are if they weren't watching your show. So keep up the good work. Yeah, Rob, you're the emperor. You're in total control. Look at you. You're sitting there, in your Zoom meeting there. Okay, you're in control of the whole thing on StreamYard, on YouTube, on Rumble, on all your platforms. Respect, leadership, stability, structure, rules and power, authority, father figure. Yeah. All about you, Rob. So get ready, Rob. It's the King of Pentacles. This is a good sign. You're heading in the right direction. The King of Pentacles says wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, abundance, prosperity, and generosity. You're the right guy to be in the throne of the King of Pentacles because you are a generous person. So anyway, Rob, this should say, like, if you're following your intuition and you're following your soul's path, which you've done like more than 2,000 times, you're doing the right thing. So keep up the good work. I hope that was a helpful, fun reading, Rob. Thank you for inviting me to read.
That was amazing. Thank you, Ray. And the next one is a donation from Selena. She says a reading for Jason. So I'll pull up Jason's profile and let me see here.
I want to say hi to Selena and I want to say hi to Jason. They show up at Starcard Podcast. I don't know if you've heard, Rob, but when I throw cards for Jason, he just gets like the best cards. He's really got some cool stuff going on. All right, missing time 420. Who wants to date through the spirit box? I'm going to throw cards for Jason. I'm not sure I understand the comment, but I'm happy whenever Jason's around, and Jason's almost always around. Here we go, Jason. Could we please have a fun, helpful message for Jason? Oh, yeah, we are going to get a fun, helpful message for Jason. Good. No problem. These cards are for Jason. It's like a gift.
And somebody just sent the first super chat. So Patricia Heaslip, thank you for sending the first super chat. She'll be next. That was amazing. Thank you.
Cool deal. All right. These cards are for Jason. A fun, helpful message for Jason. Missing time 420. These cards are for Jason. Here we go, Jason H. All right. It's always fun with Jason. Oh, sweet. You got the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune talks about luck. Luck can be good, luck can be bad. It could also talk about cycles. Sometimes you're in a winning streak. Sometimes the winning streak is off. Let's see what else it says on here. It says good luck, karma, life cycles, destiny, turning point, change, inevitable fate, ups and downs, unpredictable. But I think I've kind of talked to Jason about this before. My impression, what do I know, right? I've only been throwing tarot cards since March, but my impression is that before Jason came down to planet Earth's surface, he had a lot of good karma in his bank account. And that's why things seem, from the cards I throw, things seem to be groovy for Jason. So he might have another run of good luck, or there might be some obstacle that turns out to be the path. We actually discussed this on Starcard Podcast this morning, that Marcus Aurelius said, when you come to an obstacle, the obstacle is not blocking you. The obstacle is the new path. So you take what the universe gives you and you flow like water and you make it work. And Jason already knows how to do that. All right, enough about the first card. Let's see what else we got here, Jason. It's the Five of Swords guy. And the Five of Swords guy talks about conflict, disagreements, competition, defeat, and winning at all costs, and sneakiness. But I like turning these cards upside down. The Five of Swords reversed says, desire to reconcile, making amends, desire to forgive. That's something Jason would do. He's not going to hold on to a grudge forever. We got stuff to do. We've got fun to have. So we're going to forgive and we're going to move on. Okay, we're not hanging up on some grudges. All right, here we go. Here is the Four of Cups. What a complex card this is. You see that the guy looks like he's bummed out. He only sees 3 cups. He's not recognizing that the universe is giving him his 4th cup. He needs to be grateful for that 4th cup. He needs to be aware that the universe has his back. Not sure how that applies. Let's flip another card and see. Wow. Temperance. I feel like this is a good picture of Jason's personality. He's very balanced and even. He's not into the drama, although he's usually there when drama's involved. He's like a good bouncer. I notice he's like a bouncer in your chat all the time. Here's the 7 of Cups, which talks about opportunities. Not all the opportunities and choices are good. So you have to use discernment to figure out what's going to work best for you. But you're in a good position because you're balanced. Okay. You're not going to rush into things. And then, there you are, Jason. And then you conclude by saying, you're the magician. It's the magician card. You make the magic happen. So, whatever life brings you, even the conflicts, even the times when it feels like you're not getting help, remain balanced and grounded, because amidst all the opportunities we're giving you, you make magic out of the ones that you want to make magic out of. It's up to you, and keep it up and enjoy yourself. Way to go, Jason. Thanks for inviting me to read. And I want to thank Selena also for inviting me to read. All right, great. And now, who's the next person there, Rob?
The next one is from Patricia Heaslip, and it's a super chat. And that's, like I said, this was my first super chat on the new channel. So thank you, Patricia. And I don't know if she has a question, or maybe you could just kind of go,
Sure. I think the tarot world. Yeah, I think the tarot world knows what everybody needs to hear or wants to talk about. I want to say her name looks very familiar. I wonder if she has a podcast too, or if she's been a guest on your show. Her name looks familiar.
She's donated a few times when Sean Bond would be on, or I'm a big fan of Sean Bond, and
All right, great. All right, well, thank you very much, Patricia. Let's find a fun, helpful message for Patricia, please. Oh, okay. Well, sometimes this happens and the card pops out when I'm shuffling. So this one's for you, Patricia. And now we're going to draw a few more to see what's going on. By the way, I'm keeping that card. It's a good card. It's the Knight of Cups. So anyway, let's throw a few more cards here for Patricia. A fun, helpful message for Patricia, please. Oh, yeah? Okay. Here we go. So first of all, you got the Knight of Cups, which is the Knight in Shining Armor card. I'd like to read to you what it says on the card. Creativity, romantic, charm, imagination, beauty, knight in shining armor, following the heart, Prince Charming, and proposals. All right. So here's the rest of the story about that knight in shining armor. Wow, look, it's the magician card. We're taking our ideas and we're making them real. We're taking things from the ether and making them material in the material world. That's real magic. There's a science to it. Oh, yay. You could keep celebrating because now you got the 3 of Cups. And you can see those 3 ladies. They all got their drinks and they're all dancing around. All right. Try to tell them to stop having a good time. 3 of Cups, celebration, friendship, collaboration, creativity, community, happiness. We talked about creativity so far with these 2 cards and even a little bit with the magic or the magician card. So it feels like there's some kind of creative thing going on. Let's move on. Oh, how wonderful, Patricia. It's the Sun card. I love reading all the terms on the Sun card because it's saying everything's going to be okay. Look at you. You're making magic. You're celebrating with friends. Everything's going to be okay. You got a knight in shining armor over here. The Sun card means positivity, pleasure, happiness, vitality, fun, joy, warmth, celebration, success, rebirth, all is well. These both talk about celebration, by the way. Next, oh, how wonderful. Look at you go. It's the Empress. Look at how comfortable she looks. She's not worried about, where the next meal is going to come from or whether her family is going to be there. This is like grandma on the holidays and everybody's home. Let's read about the Empress. Abundance, nurturing, fertility, feminine, good parenting, development, accomplishment, growth, evolution, and action. And then finally, you have the Ace of Swords, which is all about the truth. And let's see what it says on the Ace of Swords. Mental clarity, breakthroughs, new ideas, success, sharp mind, new conflict. So it looks like to be, I realize the Knight of Cups, the Knight in Shining Armor is a masculine idea, but we can all be the Knights of Shining Armor in our own lives. A lot of times in the United States, we like to say, pick yourself up by your own bootstraps. So in order to be your own knight in shining armor or to feel the presence of a knight in shining armor, you're going to manifest and make magic. You're going to celebrate with your friends when you have opportunities to do that. Everything's going to be fine. There's plenty to celebrate. The keg is not going to run out. There's plenty of snacks. And it's all going to lead to a breakthrough. This happiness, this party is going to cause some kind of evolution in someone's thinking, in someone's life. I know that I'm going to come upstairs for this part. I know that after I wrote a play way back early in the 2000s, and it was recognized nationwide by the New Century Writer Contest, I threw a dinner, and we all celebrated that my play got recognized. And from there, I built upon that, and I wrote more books, and I wrote lots of other things. And now here I am writing speeches on Rob's show. So whatever you just accomplished and you're celebrating, Patricia, you know what? You get to build on that too, or someone's going to build on it. You laid the foundation for something. So rock on. Good for you. All right.
That was amazing.
Thanks.
Ray, you're getting really, really good at this. You know what I mean? You're amazing at tarot now, You really are.
That's such high praise, Rob, because you've seen hundreds of people do it. So I really appreciate it. And also, I work hard at it. I'm doing it several times a week. And when I'm not on air, I'm writing in notebooks. But, when you apply yourself, you could do anything. Ask Michael Jordan, right? You know the story about Michael Jordan, how he got cut from his high school team when he was in 11th grade. He's I'm not letting that happen again. You just work at it, Yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. Got to thank Matthew Mornian again. I really appreciate him introducing me to the world of tarot, and you too. So am I taking care of Benno here? Is that the next guy?
Yeah, I was going to see, would anybody else like a reading? You can put your name in the chat now. And I didn't see.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Okay. I'll go through to see if I missed anybody. Let me see here. I think a lot of people just want to chat in the audience tonight. I'm not sure who put Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys can put your name in the chat if you want a reading. Let me see here. Is anybody? Spiderbite would like one. Spiderbite says tarot, please, if time.
Nice. Sure. Hi, Spiderbite. You know, Spiderbite comes over to Starcard Podcast too. I mean, we met on your show, and now Spiderbite is like still my friend over at Starcard. So yeah, I'm happy to throw for Spiderbite. I see Spiderbite does what I ask people at Starcard Podcast to do. If you want a reading, type it in all capital letters so it stands out in the chat. It's easier for me to spot it. Anyway, here we go, Spiderbite. Let's throw you some cards. Sweet.
So Derek, you'll be next. You'll be next, and then Andromedan. So it'll be we'll do that. We'll do Derek next, then Andromeda, and then yeah.
Okay, super. And these are for
Derek's is for his birthday. Derek's birthday was today, I think. Or it was yesterday. It was either today.
Happy birthday, Derek. That was awesome. All right. Say hi to Desiree for me. I think I got the right Derek. That's Woo Rider, right? All right, but these are for Spiderbite. How about a fun, helpful message for Spiderbite, please? Nice. Tarot World loves giving the fun, helpful messages. I don't have to try too hard. I mean, I imagine there's a lot of people out there with tough situations, and every time I'm throwing cards and, you know, it's somehow inspirational, positive. Look for the positive. Build on it. These cards are for Spiderbite. Yeah, there's time for Spiderbite, all right. A fun, helpful message for Spiderbite, please. This card wanted to come out. These cards are for you, Spiderbite. All right, another one. Okay, great. Here we go. First up, hey, it's a Temperance card again. Let's read what it says on the Temperance card, but we can also admire the angel who's pouring water from one cup to another, and the angel has 1 foot on land and 1 foot in the water. So the angel has a foot in both worlds. Temperance, balance, harmony, moderation, patience, being sensible, purpose, finding meaning. This is not someone who goes through life aimlessly and just letting things happen to them. This is someone who recognizes that consciousness is everywhere, consciousness is around us, and consciousness is in everyone, and there are no coincidences. Everything is a synchronicity. So be like water and move gracefully and balanced through life. Here we go. While you're at it, take up the 8 of Pentacles. It's skill development. It's diligence. It's persistence. Keep at it. And maybe the thing that you're going to keep at is some of the habits of the hermit. The hermit card talks about turning inward. You see, he's got a lamp, so it helps him see the path that he needs to follow. And the hermit talks about soul searching, introspection, contemplation, wisdom, truth seeking, independence, inner guidance. You know, to do that, soul seeking. And what did it say on the Temperance card here? Finding meaning. Finding meaning, soul seeking. That's hard work. That's hard work. No one said ascension was going to be easy. We're fighting chemicals. We're fighting microwave radiation. We're fighting mind control and programming. So it's not going to be easy for us to soul search. But that's why we have to work at it, says the 8 of Pentacles. Next up, but when we do it, we end up like the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands has limitless potential. So in a very superficial sense, you can see that the Page of Wands is way up high. He's so high up that he could see over the tops of the pyramids, which are way far away. But when we work on consciousness, okay, we have limitless potential. There are things that the Page of Wands can see that we can't see. And likewise with our consciousness, until we explore it, there are things that we just don't know about. I'm going to say that's especially true in the United States because I'm observing our culture and I got some hangups. But anyway, this is for Spiderbite. Hey, Spiderbite, look at this lovely card. It's the Queen of Cups. This Queen of Cups says compassion, comfort, calm, nurturing, healing, emotionally stable, intuitive, and caring. I'm hearing calm and intuitive, and that reminds me of the Temperance card and the Hermit card. Wow, check that out. Look at all these major arcana cards coming out here. Now you have the Judgment card. The Judgment card talks about swapping out things that don't serve us anymore and bringing in new energies that do. And you could see that all the new bodies are coming out of the ground when they hear the angel blow that horn. So it's time to bring in the new energies because you're already in a good position as the Queen of Cups. You're intuitive. You've been working on soul searching and finding meaning. And so finally, I bet that this has really been ringing true for you, Spider-Bite, because the Two of Cups tells me that this is a message from the spirit world directly to you. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Hey, Spider-Bite, I appreciate your support. Thanks for visiting me on Starcard Podcast. Have a good one. We'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks for inviting me to read.
That was amazing, Ray. That was it's not unmuting me. There we go. That was amazing, Ray.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you very much.
This next one is for Derek Galloway. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Derek, and I'm very grateful that I'm honored that Derek would ask me to read. Derek was one of the people that asked me for a private reading, and that was a couple of months ago. I'm happy to do a reading for Derek. He's always been supportive every time I've come on your show. Anyway, here you go, Derek. Let's throw some nice cards for you. A fun, helpful message for Derek, please. Derek is if I remember correctly, Derek got like the High Priestess card and a Magician card, I think, last time. And I'm all, dude, you're a powerful person, and people don't realize it when you're just walking down the street. Anyway, let's explore more with Derek. I hope I got that right. I think I'm remembering that correctly. Here we go, Derek. Let's have a fun, helpful message for Derek, please. Yeah, whatever he needs to hear. Now's a great time to tell him, everybody. These cards for Derek, please. Fun, helpful message for Derek. I'm happy to deliver it. Fun, helpful message for Derek, please. These cards are for Derek. Woo Rider. All right. Here we go, Derek. It's for entertainment purposes only. I'm going to make it inspirational no matter what. That's my goal. Let's see what happens. Yeah. All right. This happens at Starcard Podcast all the time. Look at that magic. It's the Two of Cups again. So when it's at the front or at the end of a reading, it's like, hey, the spirit world is calling you. But another meaning of the Two of Cups is that it talks about two people communicating together and they're linked supernaturally by a spirit. Like there's a connection there. But let's go ahead and read what it says on the Two of Cups card. Unified love, partnership, mutual attraction, proposal, marriage, and connection. Again, could be here in the 3D, and it could be a spiritual connection. When it's at the front of a reading like that, it tells me, here comes a message for you. I'm going to say this for all the audience members who are not familiar with me. When I look at the Two of Cups, it reminds me of the old style television shows where you have a split screen and two people talking on the phone to each other. All right, so let's move on, Derek. Nice. The Hierophant. Derek is very learned. I've seen his comments in the chat. He knows stuff other people don't know about. But anyway, the Hierophant has lots of connotations. The Hierophant, institutions, tradition, religion, society and its rules, social approval, conformity, forgiveness, mercy, wisdom, and trust. Nice. And then you got the Queen of Wands, and she is the zest for life lady. And she says, courage, confidence, independence, focused, zest for life, determination, joy. And that's followed with, right on, Tarot World, it's the King of Swords. And the King of Swords says, head over heart, disciplined, truthful, honest, mental clarity, and authority. So there's a message coming in that of all the things that you've learned and you can act on, which you can and you probably should act on because it's fun. You didn't learn that stuff for nothing. Do remember to temper your enthusiasm because it does say head over heart. So control your intention before you unleash your emotions. Next up, yay, it's the Three of Cups, ladies. They're all having a good time. It's celebration. It's creativity, collaboration, friendship, community, and happiness. So we have celebration and collaboration with these cards going on here. And by the way, if you're celebrating, the Queen of Wands is going to show up. You want her at the party. And, how about another nice lady at the party? It's the 9 of Pentacles, the fruits of your labor. And finally, here it comes, the Tower card. Let's read the Tower card to you. Sudden change, upheaval, chaos, revelation, disaster, awakening, release, sudden insight. I mean, it could be just as mild as, you're digging into your drawer and you're, oh, wow, that's where that T-shirt went. Okay, or it could be much bigger. But let's look at the story again. Hello, this message is for Derek. All that learning that you got under your belt? Well, it's time to use it and have fun with it. But don't forget to think things out first. Look before you leap. Sorry, let me repeat that again. Look before you leap. And then you'll be able to celebrate with your party. You'll be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, and you'll be able to clear out whatever doesn't serve you anymore and build a new tower. Hey, Derek, I want to wish you a lot of luck. Thanks for inviting me to read. I hope it was helpful. It was definitely fun for me.
That was amazing, and that was a great. I'm telling you, you're getting you're really amazing at this. You're getting really good. I mean, you're next level, man. You're next level, for real. And there was a donation from Jason for Selena. So I got to find Selena's avatar here, and and thank you, Jason, for donating for Selena. And so they bought a reading for each other tonight. That was so cool, though. They're good people. They're just good. They're good friends. I mean, everybody in the chat's a good friend. Everybody. I'm lucky to have the audience that I have. But I'm telling you what, I got a weird sore throat tonight. My throat's killing me for some reason. I don't know what's going on. I need to get some tea or something. Maybe I don't know what kind of tea. What would you guys recommend in the audience for tea? Or something for a sore throat. This is Selena, and tomorrow I have Mary Beaver tomorrow, and I have Eve Howard. So I have a great day tomorrow. I just got to make sure I'm able to wake up. I mean, not but be present for it, because my throat's killing me. I don't know what the hell that is. I have no clue what the hell.
Well, Rob, that's a huge lineup you got going on tomorrow. And I lifted the camera up, Rob, because I want to make sure you or somebody or the videotape saw my expression. I'm so gratified to hear your praise of my work with the tarot cards. Again, it means a lot. You're an expert. You know what you're looking at. So, again, I really appreciate it. I've only been doing this since March. But thanks to you, I'm doing it. And maybe I'm helping some people. And that's good news, too. So, anyway, let's take care of Selena. Another longtime friend. She was in our tarot class. And that's a cute picture of that cat. All right. Here we go, Selena. I think I saw Selena on a show with Christy Campbell once or twice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Selena's been on here before. Yeah, she's yeah.
All right, these cards are for Selena. How about a fun, helpful message for Selena? Awesome. The traded readings with Jason. These cards are for Selena. A fun, helpful message for Selena, please. I believe it or not, I'm remembering a reading I did with Selena a long time ago when I talked about, I made the comparison she was the babysitter that everyone wanted for them to babysit their kids because she was so responsible. But anyway, let's see what happens today. It's always a fun reading for Selena. Go, Selena. Nice. The Emperor card showed up again. You guys all saw I shuffled the cards and drew them randomly. The Emperor card talks about control, respect, leadership, stability, structure, rules and power, authority, father figure. You could very well be that person in control in the driver's seat, Selena. Oh, and that's a good thing, too, because the universe is giving you an Ace of Pentacles. Check that out. The Ace of Pentacles, abundance, manifestation, opportunity, new career or financial opportunity, new venture, prosperity. You're in control of a brand new opportunity. That's awesome. The Eight of Cups says you may have to walk away from something. I mean, with the Eight of Cups card, I know Selena knows this. We see all 8 cups there, but they just look like they don't complete us anymore. That's why we need to walk away. we're going to be pursuing this Ace of Pentacles. We're not going to be paying attention to stuff that's not going to help us along that path. We're going to find a different path. Oh, this card again. It's the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups reminds us to be grateful that the universe is giving us everything that we need. So I'm sure we all go through this. We come to those points in the day where we say, well, why is it like this? Why is it like that? Why can't I have this? Well, the fact is the universe is giving you what you need. You can't always get what you want, but you can get what you need. You know what? I got some notes. I had a quote from Oscar Wilde, in case someone missed my show this morning. Anyway, I'm going to dig it out in a second. So I'm going to set this aside, and we'll come back to that. But again, so far, Selena, you have the power. You're at the forefront of a new opportunity. You're going to be walking away from stuff that doesn't serve you anymore so that you can be grateful for this new opportunity that the universe is presenting you with. Was all part of your plan. Because look, the magician card shows up and says, yeah, it was like part of your life's plan. You're just moving on to a new part in your life. You're taking ideas and you're making them real. Cool. And then I want to say thanks to Jason for buying this reading for Selena, because now you got the 10 of Cups. It's the dream come true card. Let's read it some more. Divine love, harmony, blissful relationships, alignment, like spiritual alignment, inner happiness, fulfillment, dreams come true, family contentment, total love and support. Look, you had 8 of Cups. It wasn't good enough. You got 4 Cups, but now you did the magic and you got all 10 Cups. And here you are. The King of Swords says that's the truth. The King of Swords, discipline, truthful, honest, mental clarity, and authority. Look, you start and end with authority. So that's the big deal. You're the one in charge. It's your consciousness. You create your reality the way the magician card does. You make your own dreams come true. You need to use discernment and know when to walk away. And you also need to use discernment and remember when to be grateful. And then I would like to pull out, speaking of grateful, we are in November now. Stand by. Here's a bonus. Oscar Wilde. Oh, that's not it. Nope. Where is it? Here we go. I got a quote here from Oscar Wilde about gratitude. And he says, Oscar Wilde, by the way, born in 1854, died in 1900. Oscar Wilde said, if you don't get everything you want, think of the things you don't get that you don't want. All right. Thank you, Selena and Jason. Thanks for your support and your friendship, and thanks for inviting me to read. That was fun.
That was amazing. And the next person is there. And then Andromeda would be next. I don't want to forget about Andromeda. It wouldn't be a show without the Andromeda. So
that's right. All right, cool deal, Andromeda. Good to see you again, Andromeda. I'm going to take these cards and I'm going to turn it into a positive, inspirational message. I don't care what the cards say. I'm going to be inspirational and positive about it. I want to thank you, Andromeda, for entertaining me. When I'm tuning into the podcast, I do observe what's going on in the chat. I like what you have to say. You always pique everybody's interest. So I feel like you're a celebrity. It's an honor to throw for you, Andromeda. Let's see what's going on. How about a fun, helpful message for the Andromedan, please? Can we please have a fun, helpful message for the Andromedan? These cards for the Andromedan. These cards are for the Andromedan. A fun, helpful message for the Andromedan, please. Here we go. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm entertaining myself. I hope everyone else is having a good time watching the show. Here we go. All right, we're starting off with the Wheel of Fortune. It talks about luck. It talks about destiny. It talks about fate. It talks about cycling ups and downs. Next up, wow. The Eight of Wands talks about travel and flight, but it also talks about it's coming in soon. So some kind of Wheel of Fortune action is happening soon. That's interesting. I also think that's for real because this card doesn't show up all the time. And then I wish I didn't see this card. Anyway, I know it's important. It's the Five of Swords card. And the Five of Swords guy, he's about conflict and disagreement and competition and defeat. and winning at all costs and sneakiness and theft and abusive relationships. But, we would have to watch the video. I kind of flipped it upside down a little bit before I flipped it over. So I'm going to take a look at what it says on the reverse Five of Swords. And it says, desire to reconcile, desire to forgive, making amends. So let's leave it upside down. Whatever comes our way in a hurry, you know what? Let's make amends. Not to say forgive and forget. I don't like that forgetting part. But if we don't forgive, we're holding on to something for somebody else. And we need to drop it and move on ourselves. And the King of Swords says head over heart. I know everyone sees me randomly drawing cards after I shuffle them, and the same cards keep showing up. So the King of Swords reads head over heart, disciplined, truthful, honest, mental clarity, and authority. Yeah, regardless of what these guys have to say, whatever their problem is, you're the authority. Maintain mental clarity. You don't need to be gaslit. No one's going to confuse you. You know what's going on. Next up, how about an Ace of Cups? That's pretty sweet. The Ace of Cups reads love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, and marriage. Well, since I'm Breakaway Ray, I might suggest that spirituality and intuition are important. I'm quite sure the Andromedan is all into his own consciousness and he understands how he thinks. And I'm guessing there's a lot more. He's on the threshold of uncovering more. He's on the threshold. It's about to happen. Sometimes they say that, we come into our lives and we face these challenges, and that actually turns us into a stronger person. I'm thinking of the very first Deadpool movie where they kept torturing the poor guy until he discovered his superpowers. And I can say, I can identify a little bit with that too. I didn't know I could do this stuff, so I had to go through my own version of a trial to get there. So anyway, whatever the trial is, that cycle is coming to an end soon. Dealing with these guys, you're clear on what's going on. And now there's a new chapter for you here, Andromedan. And the Knight of Wands says that you should pursue it energetically. The Knight of Wands, energy, passionate, inspired action, adventure, fearless. Go after life like it's an adventure. Turn everything into an adventure. Pretend you're holding hands with your 3-year-old self and you're walking to the store, and instead of the regular whatever, you think of, let's turn it into an adventure for that 3-year-old boy and make him have some fun. And then share that fun with him. And the moon is encouraging you to pursue the mysteries of consciousness and intuition. And let's read more about the moon card. Maybe that's where all the action's at for you. Illusion, mystery, dreams, intuition, fear, anxiety, the subconscious, and premonitions. I don't know if you keep a dream journal, Andromedan, but that's a suggestion that I'd like to offer. I really appreciate you inviting me to read, Andromedan. Thank you very much. I want to wish you a lot of luck and a lot of happiness every day. And good for you. Thanks so much.
Let me see here. Did anybody else want a reading tonight? Did I miss anybody? I was checking to see if anybody's donated or anything like that. Other than that, does anybody want a reading that I didn't get a reading yet? Andromedan says, great reading. Thanks, he says.
All right. You're welcome, Andromedan. Cool.
Oh, Kurt. Thanks, Kurt. Thank you. Kurt left the super chat. Thank you so much, Kurt. That was nice of you. Kurt, were you just at I can't remember if I saw you at the Bethel Park thing on Saturday. Were you there? I don't know if I talked to you. I can't remember. But Kurt says, I'd like a general reading as long as everyone else here has the turn first. And he says, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, Kurt. I appreciate it. That's really awesome of you.
Right on, Kurt. That's cool, Kurt. I'm holding my hands frozen like this because while I was shuffling for Kurt, sometimes a card is ready to pop out. So anyway, Kurt, your first card is the Knight of Swords. Rob got that card earlier. Feels like I've done a reading for Kurt before. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw some more cards for Kurt. We got a fun, helpful message. An inspiring message for Kurt, please. Thank you. A fun, helpful message for Kurt. All right, Kurt, let's see what's going on. So the Knight of Swords is like the main message here. Ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed, fast-thinking, defending beliefs. This guy's moving at great speed to defend his beliefs, to defend what he is passionate about. And it's possible, especially with people in this crowd, that your energy seems to mystify or overwhelm those around you. Because if you look at this card, if you see this guy coming at you, it can be quite intimidating. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean anything bad is happening. I'm just saying, you're really charged up. Let's see what else is going on here, Kurt. Yay. You're in a nice position with the energy of the Empress. The Empress reads, abundance, nurturing, fertility, feminine, good parenting, development, accomplishment, growth, and evolution. Wow. It's a miracle every time, even though it keeps on happening. You also got the Three of Cups, Kurt, and it's about celebrating. And there's the ladies. They all got a drink. They're all dancing around. They're all having a good time. There's a little bit of carefree to them because there's stuff on the ground. They're celebrating right away. Here we go. Celebration, friendship, collaboration, creativity, community, happiness. You invited your friends over for a sleepover. You're having a good time. Yeah, you got another knight here too. It's the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles says hard work, productivity, routine, conservation, efficiency, and responsibility. You're in a really great position. Everyone's celebrating that partnership and that teamwork, and that leads to an ability to work at something and be like the reliable person on someone's staff, the reliable person on someone's team, the clutch player, the most valuable player. Wow. And here comes the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands talks about travel. It talks about flight, but it also talks about stuff happening right away, coming in soon. Wow, we got this card again. It's the Temperance card. It talks about balance. It talks about finding meaning and purpose and being sensible. Yeah, this guy, the Knight of Pentacles, is going to be very sensible. He's going to work. He's going to be efficient. And Temperance is talking about, the mental part of being sensible and practical and balanced. And then the Knight of Wands also hints at that. The Knight of Wands is a person who's been experienced. He's got some wounds, but he's also got a lot under his belt. He's got a lot of new wands behind him. He doesn't waste his energy. So we're in a good position. We can celebrate that with our friends and family and our team. We have an opportunity to work hard, and we're not far away from that hard work leading us to mental ease and comfort, and we'll be able to gear up for the last stand. Let's read what it says on the Nine of Wands. Courage, persistence, test of faith, resilience, boundaries. Yeah. Were you awake yesterday? Yeah. You're going to be awake tomorrow? Probably. They can't stop you. Good. And so then you proceed like the Knight of Swords and you go get them. Well, Kurt, I hope that was fun and inspirational. Good luck. It looks like you got some fun stuff coming your way.
Let me see here. We have one more person. Their spiritual ascension. She says, I'd like one if there's time. Do we have time for spiritual ascension?
Absolutely. I mean, I was thinking about going to Starcard Podcast after this show and just going to do readings. I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but nevertheless, I'll stay as long as you want. It's
And then Melly wants a reading after that. You guys can go over to Ray's Ray's channel, and you guys could do readings over there too, because that would get you some people over there too. They could just come leave from here and go right over there. We've been on about an hour and 20 minutes. I say we do a spiritual ascension, and then Anchor Haven wants one too. So yeah, I just have a sore throat, guys. I feel like crap tonight, but we'll do those three, and then we'll do those three for sure. We'll do if that's okay with you, Ray. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do those 3, and then we'll close up shop because we've been going a good long time, and you got to gear up, for your next couple of shows. Your voice is important. So let me cover it for you for now. I'll take care of those 3 meetings.
It's like a pain in the back of my. It's a New England Dirt Road. He said he's sending a PayPal. So wait, let me see what he sent. I don't think I got. Let me see if I got it. I didn't get it, man. He said he sent me a PayPal. I didn't get it. New England Dirt Road. I'll
stay as long as you want, Rob. So don't worry about me. I'll do 3. I'll do 4. We'll help out the PayPal people, but I'll work on spiritual ascension right now. I recognize spiritual ascension. I feel like I've thrown some cards for spiritual ascension before. I'm happy to throw them again. Thanks for inviting me to read. I have a good time doing this.
Yeah.
All right. These cards are for spiritual ascension. How about a fun, helpful message for spiritual ascension, please? Spiritual ascension. These cards are for spiritual ascension. Okay. Spiritual ascension. Here we go. These cards are for spiritual ascension. Yeah, people come to Starcard Podcast. The first 25 or 30 minutes is me talking about stuff. And then for the next 30 to 40 minutes, I'm throwing cards for people. I do it a couple times a week. Anyway, here we go. This is for spiritual ascension. First up, yay, it's the Justice card. It talks about cause and effect. It talks about law. And also it talks about balance, fairness, truth, clarity, equality. Oh, I'm glad the Justice card was here because following that, look who shows up. It's the Devil card. Now, the Devil card really talks about letting go of things that we don't need to hold on to anymore. If you look at the people, the giant devil image, they have chains around their neck, but they could easily just lift those chains off their heads and go on with their lives. So, and when we're talking about cause and effect, we're going to let something go, and then we'll be in the position of the Knight of Pentacles. We'll be ready to do hard work and work productively and efficiently. Is there something dragging you down with your main purpose? It's time to let it go. Do you really need it? Okay. How about another knight? Check it out. It's the Knight of Cups. It's the knight in shining armor. So again, we're talking about there's cause and effect involved. And if you let something go, you're going to be in the position of the Knight of Pentacles to work more efficiently. And you've just become your own knight in shining armor. So it's important to study what it is you value. Is there some kind of drag? Because if there's a drag, you can let it go. You can ask for help from the spirit world. You can let it go. It's going to align you better to your path, and you're going to feel like a new person. Then you could be cool like the Queen of Wands, who says, I have zest for life. She also says, courage, confidence, independence, focus, zest for life, determination, and joy. Yeah, once you let this go and you realize there's nothing stopping you, and in a way, you've behaved in a heroic sense to help yourself out there. Now, what's stopping you from having a good time and going after your goals? Nothing. Yeah, you're making magic, says the Magician card. And then I don't know what kind of finale this is with the Five of Swords. Well, let's turn it upside down. The Five of Swords, making amends, desire to forgive. Yeah, there's always going to be conflict, okay, but when we go to the other side, do we really want to stand before people and say, I still got a grudge? You don't want any grudges now. So turn it upside down, forgive, move on, let it go. You got too many good cards going on here, Spiritual Ascension. Thanks for inviting me to read. I hope it was fun and inspirational. All right, Rob, who's next again, please?
Okay, I got you. No worries. We have Spiritual Ascension, Melly. Let me see here. Wait, I got it.
Is that Nelly, Nelly?
Yeah. Yeah, Melly's next, and then I can't remember who after that. We had Melly, and then New England Dirt Roadie, and then there was one other person, Anchor Haven. Yeah. So we have Anchor Haven and New England Dirt Roadie after this, and then that's it, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Hey, Melly, that's a lovely hummingbird picture. And I just want to show, I don't know why this happened, but I'm shuffling and the Eight of Pentacles happens to be face up. I'm going to go ahead and throw that back in. The Eight of Pentacles talks about diligence. Maybe that applies, Melly, but we're going to throw you some cards right now. We're going to get another fun, inspirational, helpful message, this time for Melly. Thank you for all these great messages, Tarot World. We're helping so many people. A lot of people are tuning in and thinking things. We're sparking some imagination, people reflecting on their own lives, the energies in their own situation. These cards are for Melly. Can we please have a fun, helpful message for Melly? Thank you. Melly. These cards are for Melly. All right, I heard you. These cards are for Melly, please. A fun, helpful message for Melly. All right. One more for Melly, please. All right, Melly, let's see what happens. This is for entertainment purposes only, but it looks like we're all having fun. Let's keep throwing the cards. All right, we're starting off with the Eight of Cups, and that could be a good thing. We're walking away from something that doesn't serve us anymore. It still looks good. There's still 8 cups there, but it looks like there's something missing. And even going back to it's going to be hard. You got to trek through all that water. We're going to get muddy. Forget about it. We're going to go find a new path. Let's read what it says on the Eight of Cups. Disappointment, abandonment, withdrawal, escapism, walking away. It's the walk away card. Next up, it's the World. This is such a beautiful card. I love looking at the World card. She's so elegant. Anyway, yeah, no matter what deck I use, the World card looks so beautiful. And the Star card, of course. Anyway, the World card, completion, accomplishment, wholeness, attainment, fulfillment, travel, celebration of life, arriving. You're walking away from something so that you can finally accomplish something. Let's see what the rest of these cards say. Wow. The Six of Wands talks about public recognition. Oh, wow. And then you got the Lovers card too, the strength of two together. And this card also indicates to me that, you know, the spirit world is involved. And you can see the larger figure behind the two smaller figures. The spirit world is involved here. So you're walking away from something and you've discovered a whole new world, and it's been there the whole time. And apparently it's really groovy, whatever it is that's going on over there, Melly. Let's see what else. Hey, Melly, you got the Page of Cups, and this is the Happy Surprise guy. Wow. Then you got the King of Cups, and he's like the best leader of them all. He's emotionally balanced. He's compassionate but diplomatic. He's got control. He's balanced. He's a supportive leader. He's tolerant and empathic. Wow. You know, Melly said, can I be your last card pull? This would have been a nice way to, shoot off our last fireworks. She got the Sun card to finish off. And the Sun card says everything's going to be okay. So look at this. You're walking away from something. You discovered a whole new world. It's been there the whole time. You've discovered a love or an adventure. It's a happy surprise. And there's a very wonderful King of Cups energy to it. And the Sun card says everything's going to be okay. All right, Melly, very good. Party at your house. Keep it up. Enjoy.
Yeah, and I just want to introduce. I say to people while we're going tomorrow, while we have a bigger audience here, I just want to tell people tomorrow is Eve Howard and Mary Beaver. So if you guys want to learn how to deprogram from MK Ultra, and Mary Beaver just told me, she said she finished 4 workbooks on MK Ultra deprogramming. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then at 8 p.m. Eastern, me and Eve Howard are doing she wants me to do I'm going to teach people podcasting. We're offering a course. It's going to be a course that we're offering for people. And I'm going to teach everybody everything I know about podcasting. So if you want to learn everything I've known or everything I will know, I'm going to do a PowerPoint. But I mean, this is in the beginning stages. But then Eve's also going to talk about her group, and that's at her Thunder Warrior group, which is at 8 p.m. Eastern. So those will be 2 good shows tomorrow, guys. So yeah, and the next is Anchor Haven. Let me see here. Okay. But that course isn't tomorrow. That course is something we're going to be teaching soon. I'm going to be teaching. That'll be like November 15th. I'm just getting it out there now so you guys know about it.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting, Rob. You have a lot to share. You're the master. There's got to be a lot of people who are interested in learning what you know. No one will ever be able to catch up to you. But
I hope so. I mean, I hope people want to know. Like I don't know. Yeah, it's I can't offer psychic services or anything like that. One thing I do know is how to navigate podcasting. So people that want to learn that, I can teach them. I can teach them things, what to do and what not to do. Also, you know what I mean. Right. That's a big thing. There's a lot of things that people, shouldn't be doing too.
So Psychic Liz Cross was talking to me about getting an LLC. I don't know if you know anything about LLCs, Rob.
Yeah, a corporation. Yeah.
Right.
Like a little bit. I don't know why.
Okay. I mean, she basically discussed it with me because it was a way to shield, our identity. You set it up so that, you're trying to protect your privacy a little bit with an LLC. Nevertheless, I just thought I'd mention that. I don't know if that's part of your explorations with Eve Howard, but that is, those are two heavy hitters you're talking about tomorrow. Those ladies really know their stuff.
It'll be a good show. Those are 4 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Eastern, guys. Two good shows.
Way to go, Rob. All right. Speaking of good shows, how about Julia Anchorhaven? That lady's cranking it out also.
I love Julia. Julia's a really good friend of mine. She really is. And you know what? She's up late right now. It's 9:42 here on the East Coast where she is, and I know it's only 6:42 where you are. But for Anchorhaven, it's 5 hours ahead. So wait a minute. It's 10, 11, 12, 1. It's 2:42 a.m. for Anchorhaven right now. You know what I mean? She's dedicated. She's awesome.
That's for sure.
Julia's a really nice person too. She really is. I love Julia. She's really a good soul.
That's right. That's right. Julia shows up at my podcast. I was going to tease her. The tables have turned, Julia. Now you're up at 2 a.m. and not me. But anyway, let's throw some cards for you, Julia. First up, the Ace of Swords. That's the truth. We're talking about mental clarity, breakthroughs, new ideas, success, sharp mind. That's all about Julia and her podcast, Health and Wellness there, Mystical Wellness. So the Six of Swords is here to remind you, Julia, that you are being guided to calmer waters by a divine hand. I know all of us go through the day and we say, is God there? Is God hearing me? But yeah, God is with you and it's guiding you to calmer waters. All right. The Five of Pentacles showed up, and Julia knows from Starcard Podcast that I'm probably the only person who likes to see this card because I turn it upside down and I read about spiritual poverty and charity and improvement and recovery from financial loss. Doesn't all sound exciting, but we're talking about charity and improvement. And when we say spiritual poverty, for Julia and for myself, we mean, we're telling people about the things in the world and the universe that we don't learn about in school and the church doesn't teach us and the television doesn't show us. So, she's delivering the truth with help from the spirit world about the war on spiritual poverty and the war on consciousness. She's totally dedicated. She's up at 2 a.m. tuning in to keep it going. And then guess what? It leads to a 10 of Pentacles. And I think the main word there is contribution. That, for sure, we could say that Julia has already made a contribution to the cottage industry, the industry, and all the things that we talk about on Typical Skeptic Podcast. And finally, Julia, I'm happy to say you got the Three of Pentacles, which is the collaboration card. It's the teamwork card, and it talks about learning, which is true with you, and you're still building something. And this is also one of those cards that tells me, the spirit world is involved. You may not be working with a financier, some person who's going to fund your platform or what have you, but you've got the spirit world on your side, and that's stronger. If the spirit world wasn't there, you wouldn't be cranking out all the videos and doing all the things you're doing. Anyway, I don't think I need to expound on that much more. Julia knows better than I do. Thanks for inviting me to read, Julia. Maybe I'll see you in a couple hours.
And And this is the last one is New England Dirt Roadie, and he's saying here's something about Slayer and Bon Jovi. He likes Slayer and Bon Jovi. I like them. I like both of them too.
Cool. All right. Hey, New England Dirt Roadie. Thanks for inviting me to read. I think Bon Jovi, I think they're an act from New Jersey, right? Like Bruce Springsteen too.
Oh yeah. I love the East Coast artists, because I'm from the East Coast. The New England Dirty, the East Coast. He's like a true East Coast guy. Like I'm from Pittsburgh, which is like East Coast, like Midwest. But I used to live in Philly, and I've been all over the East Coast. I used to surf in different places on the East Coast, like so. But like I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan.
Yeah, cool.
I think Bon Jovi is from New Jersey too. I have to look that up, but yeah.
I mean, I know New Jersey's not part of New England, but it's all around there. I know I'm a native New Yorker. I used to live in Connecticut for a little while. I used to be a big New England Patriots fan way back when, Grogan was quarterback. Shows how old I am, Steve Grogan.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
No.
Right, because anyway, these cards are for New England Dirt.
He says he was born in Brooklyn in the 70s. I surfed at Rockaway Beach, New England Dirt Roadie. I actually surfed Rockaway Beach.
Rob, that is so cool because my grandfather always talked about Rockaway Beach. In the 1920s and 30s, he was always at Rockaway Beach. He always talked about it. So
it was a Ramones song too. If you follow I used to love punk rock, and there was that song where I used to go rock.
Yeah. All those Ramones songs were awesome.
I love the Ramones. Yeah.
Those guys eased me into punk rock music. I got into punk rock partly because of the Ramones. But anyway, these cards are for our new friend, New England Dirt Roadie. Here we go. Sweet. It's the Fool card. He's at the very beginning. And look, he's about to like go like you. He's going to take that bike off to jump off that cliff. You better watch what he's doing. All right, but congratulations, you're at the start of something. Nice. And you're riding your bike because you got the chariot, so you're moving forward. So you're at the beginning of an awesome trail there, New England Dirt Roadie. Whoa. And then the devil card shows up. I hope he's just there saying, yo, this is awesome. I would do this. That New England Dirt Roadie dude is cool. But anyway, the devil card talks about releasing things that no longer serve us. You want to streamline your effort when you're on the bike. Minimize drag. I mentioned that before. Let go what doesn't serve you. Let's read what it says on the devil card. Shadow self, attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality, temptation, seduction, destructive behavior, materialism, codependency, toxicity. Hey, when you go on that trail and you're cruising on your bike, be careful. Okay, don't hurt yourself. Watch where you're going. And then the Eight of Swords has a couple of meanings, but for me, Breakaway Ray, I say as much as you can imagine. So, you may have a little bit of a daredevil in you there, New England Dirt Roadie. You're ready to jump off the cliff on your bike, but you do need to be careful not to hurt yourself as much as you can imagine. So again, my suggestion is look before you leap, take it easy, temper your enthusiasm because you got a long road to go. We still got 3 more cards to go here. Nice. The High Priestess talks about intuition. I'm going to read to you what it says on the High Priestess card. There might be more to it. The High Priestess, intuition, sacred knowledge, the subconscious, divine feminine, trust yourself, sensitivity, purity, and high morals. Wow. Then you got the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles talks about nurturing, practical, providing financially, a working parent. You got to have both ladies. You can't just have, I'm thinking about my own mom. She's not just going to stay in the house and cook and clean all the time. She's got to you got to take her out to the movies. She has to expand and her horizons and see the world around her. She's not just there to take care of the house all the time. Okay. So there's more to it. There's more to life than just a 3D world because it's all being projected from your subconscious to begin with. Wow. What an exciting card. The Five of Wands, which talks about respecting boundaries. I know I talked about a bike ride here. So let's see if I can continue the whole way with the bike ride idea. If this helps, New England Dirt Roadie. So you're at the beginning of a new adventure, new beginnings, possibilities, spontaneous optimism, trust in life. And then the movement card in the Chariot. Then letting go our shadow self as much as you can imagine, because whatever it is that's on your mind, it's pervasive in your life. You're always thinking about it. Your eyes could be closed, and whatever it is that's bothering you can still be there. But look, those are all static swords. Their points are in the ground. They're not hurting anybody. This is like a situation in my mind where I think, sometimes people experience things and then years later, they're the only ones who remember that thing and everyone else forgot about it. So, you're right about showing spontaneous optimism and riding your bike forward on whatever this new trail is. And as much as you can imagine, you should let go of, the last time you biffed on your bike. It was a good idea to get back up and ride, because you have good intuition. You are a practical person, and you can respect boundaries, stay on the path, don't go off the trail, and respect other people's boundaries as well. Everyone has their own opinions. Everyone is just as determined to ride their bike and have a lot of fun as you. Anyway, thanks for inviting me to read New England Dirt Roadie. It was nice to kind of meet you here on Rob's show. I appreciate you inviting me to read. I love the practice.
Yeah, and just one more announcement, guys, because I know a lot of you guys just watch on YouTube, and this is my last announcement for the night. I did 2 shows over the last 2 days that were Rumble only, because I have to do certain shows on Rumble. But trust me, it worked out better because they had a lot of sensitive content that I can't put on YouTube. So if you're normally watching on YouTube, you're missing out, because the shows I did on Rumble, I did one last night with Tommy Edwards, and then I did one with Robert Stanley today. And they're both really good shows. You have to check them out, You just go to Rumble and go to Typical Skeptic Podcast, and that's it. And that's it for me, Ray. But what do you want to promote anything? And thank you, Ray. I really enjoy it every time you come on.
Yeah, Rob. Well, it's the holiday season, so I got my fingers crossed. You'll invite me around Thanksgiving, and then maybe on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
Yes,
both
indeed.
for sure.
I love it, Rob. And I would just invite people to go to Starcard Podcast and check me out. There's about 100 videos up there. I read tarot cards, and I basically do the same show I do on Rob's. I present some ideas. We throw some tarot cards. We have a good time. Thanks, everybody. It's great to see everyone. I hope you all have a great November. I look forward to seeing everyone around Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Rob. This has been awesome. I love it.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Eastern, and for the Eve Howard and Mary Beaver shows. And thank you guys so much, and take care, guys. And watch the Rumble shows. And thank you. And listen to the audio podcast. And thank you, guys. Have a good night.